For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, episode 77. Well, thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. August is in full swing. The Olympics here, this is interesting because there's been so much controversy around the Olympics. I guess it's every 4 years, but then 2 years, because winter, summer. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Olympics coming up in just a little bit. It was also my birthday earlier in the week. Yes, happy birthday to me. It's always awkward when somebody points out that their birthday is happening, right? In Canada, my birthday is typically the long weekend. There's a long weekend at the beginning of August. And so when somebody just casually in conversation asks, so what are you doing for the long weekend? Oh, what are you doing? It's awkward when I go and say, well, my birthday's on Monday, because then you sort of pause, or they jump in and say happy birthday. And I always find it funny when somebody wishes you happy birthday and they don't really know you, or they don't really, because it's just, there's an obligation. You feel obligated to say happy birthday to the person when they say that it's their birthday, right? Or going to be their birthday. And so the funny thing with that is I got more happy birthday messages on Facebook and Twitter from complete strangers. There's 74,000 Twitter followers, and I'm not sure how many friends on Facebook, but just for people that I've never even met somewhere around the world. And I realize that they don't care, and they're just saying it because Facebook told them it's my birthday today, or they saw everybody else saying happy birthday to me. But the bottom line is they said it. I have family members that live in the same city as me that didn't even acknowledge, and one, know when my birthday is, two, don't need Facebook to remind them, and I still didn't hear from them. So what does this tell you about people's relationship and dynamics? Now, I can honestly say that I don't remember when people's birthdays are, but I also have them programmed in my phone so that I can give a personalized message. Not that anybody's going to realize the difference if I have them on my phone or if Facebook told me or what have you, but I can, I'll shoot them a text or something. Like, it's a little bit more personal to get that interaction than just a posting on a Facebook page, right? I think. I'd love to know your thoughts about this. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Now, on the radio show, earlier in the week, I asked people, what was your best birthday ever, and what was your worst birthday ever? And the best one was, sometimes it'll be a big, like, vacation. Oh, we flew somewhere, we did this, I did this happened, and that's great. And often, with someone that you love or you care about, or maybe somebody surprised you with something. And I had to, I guess I laughed in the moment, and it's still sort of sad to me, but there was, I won't say the name, it was a female, and I thought it was a teenager. Turns out, through the course of some back and forth emails, that she was actually a grown woman, 39-year-old woman. Her worst birthday ever was when she discovered that one of the people that she thought was, a longtime friend had unfriended her on Facebook. So this brings up a whole thing, because I've always kind of laughed at people who sort of check, who will frequent their page to look at how many friends they have, like on a day-to-day basis, and then realize that it's gone down 2 people or 4 people, and then try to figure out who it is. And so it's comical to me that, one, you end up spending your birthday doing this, because to me that shows an insecurity. Like, I honestly am not on Facebook every day, and when everybody was posting happy birthday, I actually didn't see it until about 2 or 3 days later. And okay, and I didn't do a roll call. I didn't go through a checklist to see, who wrote to me and who didn't on there. Or that, people aren't obligated to say happy birthday to you, even if they are close family members or relatives or whatever it is. And so we just have this expectation now that, hey, you did get a reminder on Facebook. I know you did. that all of a sudden it's a slap in the face. And like I said, I honestly am not on Facebook every day. I'm not an addict, so I couldn't even... if you are my friend on Facebook, I don't even know what kind of a percentage, but there's a very good chance that I'm not going to see that it's your birthday because I might not be on Facebook that day. And that's just the bottom line. I have better things. Maybe I have my head on down playing the Pokemon, which I still don't really get, but I've seen people with the little spinning things and GPS mapping. I don't understand what that app is in the game, and I don't get it, and I don't want to know. But anyway, so her worst birthday ever was when one of her, what she thought good friends, unfriended her and just, wasn't on her Facebook page anymore. Naturally, like I said, I figured that was a teenager because that seems like a very juvenile teenage thing to do or feel. Turns out, grown woman. So, I don't know. It's to each their own is the sort of the politically correct way to get out of this, but it was incredibly sad. Social media does not play a huge part of my life, and in all honesty, Bachelor in Paradise premiered on Tuesday of this week, and I watched the episode last weekend and had written out all my tweets during the weekend when I watched it, and we pre-programmed it, so it looked like I was live tweeting for 2 hours on Tuesday. I was not. I was out suntanning and walking my dogs on Tuesday. So that's just the way, social media goes. We have it set up so that we can program tweets all day, every day for, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I am not physically clutching my phone and tweeting, so that's one of the good things. But at the same time, if that's what's going to ruin your birthday or ruin your day because somebody unfriended you. I should have asked, actually, did she at least send you a happy birthday message before she did that? I don't know. But anyway, live at jbonair.com if you want to chime in and tell me about your best or worst birthday ever. Now, on the radio show, Julie Chen, host of Big Brother and The Talk, called in to surprise me. Now, bit of a confession, full disclosure here, we taped the birthday show in 2 parts. The interview with Julie Chen was actually taped almost close to the middle of July, and then the birthday show, like I said, is airing this week. And so we're going to play you that audio about Big Brother because some of the things that she does say are relevant, but some of them are a little bit outdated. You're going to hear her talk about 1 or 2 house guests that are no longer in the house, but we're playing you the full audio on the Scribble today. So we've got Julie Chen coming up in just a little bit. As I mentioned at the top of the show, my thoughts of the Olympics happening now in Rio. And is there anything to talk about with Donald Trump? I'm not sure. We'll just play it by ear and see how much time we have. We're back on the Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Hearing that commercial about Mexico reminded me, again, of Bachelor in Paradise. It is just a train wrecky show. It really is. Remember, I'm live tweeting every, Monday and Tuesday at SF, as in Speak Free, SF Celeb Watch. SF Celeb Watch for those tweets. And I guess, as I've just admitted, I'm not always right there in the moment when those tweets are going out. I just outed myself. I probably shouldn't have done that. Either way, I do watch the show, though, and it's quite interesting to hear your thoughts because, people don't take the show seriously. Right after Hojo, as I call her, and Jordan announced, well, I guess their engagement was publicly announced on the Bachelorette finale last Monday. Naturally, speculation is that, Jordan was just in it for a TV deal, and are people on there, as they say, for the right reasons. So it's interesting how Bachelor Nation went from a devoted group of fans, hoping that these people find love, to now just being a bunch of skeptics and cynics and dicks like me, who watch the show and like to criticize and comment on everything. Now, another guilty pleasure people have in the summer is Big Brother. I mentioned Julie Chen called into our syndicated radio show to wish me a happy birthday, and razz me, evidently. Have a listen to this call with Julie Chen. Again, a little bit dated because some of the house guests are no longer in the house, but we taped it a couple of weeks ago, and it was a birthday surprise. Here's Julie Chen on the radio. Continuing on with my birthday celebration, the celebrity phone, once again, lighting up, and they never tell me who's calling in. Of course, right? It's great fun for them. Let's see who it is. Hello, you're on the air.
By a vote of 7-0, Jeremy, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house.
From the Big Brother...
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi. Oh, Julie Chen? This is not Julie Chen.
This is the Chenbot. Yes, it is.
But first, no. Of all people, you know what? I'm going to call into the talk on your 34th birthday and razz you, Miss Julie Chen. How would you like that?
Oh, you mean in 10 years from now?
If we're still on the air. I should behave because your husband could probably have us canceled and we don't even work for CBS. So anyway.
Now that's power.
Oh, but let's talk about Big Brother then. Speaking of power, right?
Yeah.
Crazy twists this year. You had returning house guests, you've had the roadkill competition, third nominees, and now you're bringing back an evicted house guest so early on in the season, right?
Yes, we are, for the first time ever, we are having something called the Battle Back competition, and that is going to air on a special Friday night episode. And what is happening there is the house guests don't know it, but the first 5 people they evicted are going to be competing in this Battle Back competition, and the winner will move back into the house. Ding dong, someone's at the door. Hi.
Love that.
Someone that you thought you sent home is coming back to live with you.
So now, are they all housed together still, so they could be talking game and strategy, or are they all separate right now?
They are separate right now, sequestered. So, yeah, otherwise that would be not good.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the house guests who had a sibling play before, right, the Tiffany-Vanessa thing, they always assume there's a target on their back, and I'm not sure if it's because they just think the house guests will believe they've had some sort of insider knowledge, but we've all seen how the game is played, right? It plays out on television. Do you think it actually works against them, or is that just them psyching themselves out, or they just feel, hey, I'm the brother or sister of so-and-so?
It has worked against one of them, and it has not affected the other one. It has worked against Tiffany because her sister Vanessa was such a good player and so manipulative that house guests who are there right now see the similarities between Tiffany and Vanessa. So that's a strike against Tiffany. Now, Paulie's brother Cody took it very, again, both of these people were in the final 2. He took it very far, but he didn't have enemies. People liked him. And, Paulie's kind of his own player. He's his own person. So that has not hurt him at all.
Do you remember the first season of the show? Of course you remember the first season. You guys were in that airplane hangar kind of thing at the end. And the house guests were all lovey-dovey, right? There was no backstabbing, no drama. Now, there's more alliances in the house than people. Have you noticed that? Every season, it seems that there's more and more alliances.
Yes, and the reason it's so different from Season 1 is because Season 1, the house guests didn't vote each other out. The public, it was a call-in TV show where the public called in who they didn't like. And voted out people. So there was no tension. There was no, competitiveness. People were like, well, I really want you to stay, but I guess it's up to America. Let's play cards,
Right.
It wasn't that exciting.
No, it wasn't. But they had a dog, though, didn't they?
They did have a dog. I think her name was Pegita.
Right. The dog went into the pool. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I might be getting older, Julie, but I still got the memory. Still have the memory here.
I'm very impressed. Remember that trivia.
Yeah, we had a question sent in. Has Julie ever tried slop?
I have tried slop, and it tastes like extremely hearty oatmeal. And when I made it, I probably made it a little bit too gummy, but it wasn't bad. I like oatmeal. I like it. It's very plain tasting, so if you add brown sugar, it'll take on that. If you add salsa, take on that. Whatever you add, I liked it.
Sorry,
I
is there...
wouldn't want to be on it for a whole week like this.
No, but is there like a recipe online? So you made it yourself?
No, I got the oats from production. I need to bring home a bucket of slop.
That's when you have a fight with the husband, and that's what you're making for dinner? Is that how it works?
Yes, yeah, right. Punishment. By the way, if I make anything for dinner, that's punishment.
Jeremy Bradley here, back once again talking with Big Brother host Julie Chen. Chenbot, she called herself that. That's not me calling her names. We're talking everything Big Brother today. And I also have to... Is there like a sign in the diary room that tells them to shout loudly at the camera? Have you noticed that they yell at us in there?
I know. It's some more than others. I think it's a strange concept for them, just to see a camera and not a person. So they feel like they have to like scream through the camera lens in order to be heard.
Yeah. I always love I want to hear your opinion, because as the host of the show, a lot of times, you have to kind of stay impartial. Who has had the best game move so far?
Best game move. Who's playing it well? I have to say, some people who are playing it like cool, that isn't really registering. Well, James is playing it great because he's just like this fun-loving, extremely likable guy that does not have a target on his back. He's pretty decent at physical competitions, and yet he's not being viewed as a threat. So, I was rooting for Davon for a while, but in Sunday night's episode, I didn't like that she was exposed for exposing secrets. Tiffany, getting Tiffany and Frank at each other's, necks, and I didn't like that. I really thought she was more straight up than that. So, I don't know. As every season goes by, my opinion shifts of each player, unless they're just a floater and not doing much.
So what you're saying is, like, James the ladies' man is kind of working for you. He's got an effect on you?
I'm saying that James is probably one of the smartest players right now. And he's not that competitive. I remember from the season that he played, when he got HOH, he was very, chill about it. The power didn't go to his head. Mm-hmm. It's almost like he's just in there to, have a fun summer rather than try and win $500,000.
Yeah.
That's the key to doing it.
For sure. Yeah, we've got to wrap this up. But I know, the same thing with Bridget. All of a sudden, she gets some power, whole new attitude, whole new personality came out, didn't it?
Oh, I didn't like it. So mesmerized by Frank. He was running the show on her HOH.
One more final question: who has no chance of winning? Come on.
Everybody has a chance of winning.
Oh.
But I would say right now, Tiffany has not only a long road ahead of her, it might be a very short road because she might be getting evicted tomorrow night.
Right.
So Tiffany has probably the least chance of winning right now.
All right. Well, we're going to be watching. So Big Brother, it airs Sundays, Wednesdays. It's every day of the week on CBS, right? Oh. Well,
that's how it is in England. Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
That's right. So check your local listings. That's just the easiest thing to say. Well, Julie Chen, thank you so much for calling in and surprising me today. It's been great chatting with you.
Thank you, and happy birthday, Jeremy.
Thanks, Julie. Take care. There was also a moment for that show that people actually did not hear. We weren't live, as I mentioned. We taped that in 2 parts. And it's very weird to tape a 2-hour show like that, about 2 or 3 weeks apart. But I kind of fumbled the introduction, and if it was live radio, it would have been very embarrassing. But take a listen to what happened.
Today's best music.
Oh, it's me now. Hey, everybody. Oh, my God. I totally missed my cue. Oh, my God. All right. We got to do that again.
Top of the charts with Jeremy Bradley.
Oh, all right. Hold on. Stop the music there. Stop the music. We got to do that again. My eyes are watering. Wow. In 10 years of me doing the show, I've never missed my cue before, and I can't even say that I was out of the room and I just came running in. I've been sitting here waiting to start the show.
Today's best music.
Hello everybody, Jeremy Bradley here. This is Top of the Charts, 2 hours of great music coming your way, and I am on the ball today. I've got to tell you, I'm going to explain what happened coming up in just a little bit, and it's also my birthday. We're going to answer the celebrity phone in the second half of the show. Sit back, relax, or get up and dance. It's going to be a good one. Top of the Charts starts right now.
Top of the Charts with Jeremy Bradley.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Back here on the Scribble once again. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. So if you're listening to this August 5th, the Olympics has just begun, and it's once again a time for the world to compete and have scandal about drugs and judges that are rigging things. It's really, it does make you wonder. It's a very political event. Now, growing up, and maybe even in my early 20s, I didn't realize how political it was, and the first couple times that I heard people say that it's all political, I didn't get what that meant. Now that I'm older, and I think the Russian Olympics sort of really made it hit home, it also just sort of makes you wonder why we bother then. You know, there's so much, it's one thing to be competitive, but the world is so divided right now. Just with everything, no matter what it is, right? It could be racism, it could be guns, it could be terrorism, it could be anything. And, now we've got something that just makes people compete even more. Why don't we have something that's a more fun event? And I get the Olympics is traditional because it's been around so long, blah, 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 blah. But all of these things weren't happening back in the day. We're a world divided. We almost need something that's unity. And I get maybe that there's a spirit of the games where... See, I wrote a newspaper column about this a few years ago where I had said, congratulations, best of luck to everybody. It really doesn't matter if you win gold. The fact that you're, the best in the world and you're there competing. And I almost got flayed alive by people who were just like, you don't go to the Olympics to come in second. You don't compete all that time or practice all that time to... And I just thought, wow, that's such a competitive spirit. Maybe that's also why I really didn't play sports and get into things like that when I was a kid. Not because I would have had a bruised ego or, I would have felt bad about myself if I didn't do very well. But I don't know, it just was I didn't get a very positive response. It was like I was an outcast when I had that opinion a few years ago. I should pose that question again, though. Is it cool to get silver or bronze? To me, you're still third best in the world. Why not, right? I write a book, maybe not necessarily to be a bestseller, but to do well and have people appreciate what I do. And, but I don't know if that's a good comparison, writing a book and competing in sports. But would love to know your thoughts. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Oh, and we're also on Twitter, by the way, at The Scribble Show, if you want to check that out, at The Scribble Show. Big summer, you know what? And once August rolls around, that's when everybody starts complaining. It's like now we're on the downhill slope of summer, and it's going to go quickly. What was the highlight of your summer? What did you do? Anything wild and crazy? Would love to hear about it. Again, that email address, live@jbonair.com. Donald Trump, President Trump, should I call him? I don't even know really what's going on. There's a part of me that actually, it's funny because on the desk here there's a little baseball keychain and it says I Heart Texas. We have the opportunity to broadcast our radio shows from all over North America, really all over the world. And we do travel tourism broadcasts 3 times per year. And we have the option in November. We tape our Christmas programming, and we had a meeting the other day, a production meeting, about where exactly we should go. There are a few prospects, places in the United States, Florida, Texas, and a few other, some cities in those states. And the timing of taping the show for Christmas actually happens to be around the American election. And I thought it would be actually really cool to be in the United States during election night to find out, to be there when everything's going on, happening, coming down, whatever you want to call it. And some people are saying, no, that's actually I don't want to be in the States for something like that, because who knows what's going to happen, especially in a place like Texas, as we see with their guns and everything. And I just said, well, an accident, or an incident, let's say, can happen anywhere, right? I could be at, let's say, the Olympics and get shot by somebody, or I can be wherever. Now, not to say that it's more likely to happen in the States as opposed to in Brazil for the Olympics. I think either of those maybe isn't the best example. But in rural Saskatchewan, let's say, is it likely that I'll get shot there? I don't know. It depends. If I'm trespassing on a farmer's property, I could. But it's also time and place, right? So I think it would be fascinating, not necessarily to do our show from there and base it on election coverage, because there's plenty of outlets that will be doing that, and I don't imagine that it's going to be widespread, World War III on election night if Trump actually wins, or if Clinton wins. Who knows what's going to happen? But certainly, it'll be an interesting night, and I think all eyes will be watching. All eyes will be watching, and it's a good thing that people are getting involved in the democratic process that happened in Canada when the country voted out Stephen Harper and brought in some young blood with Justin Trudeau. But I think people at that time are voting just for the sake of change. It really wasn't a matter of voting specifically for it, just anybody but him we wanted in office. And I think it could be, if you don't want Trump, well, then you're just going to vote for somebody else and not give him those votes, whether you want that person to win or not. That seems to be what happens, what I've noticed. But it's fascinating, though, that in Canada, the last fall election was the longest campaign ever. I think it was like 80-something days. Not months, not years, days. And that was excruciatingly long. And then you have the American one, which really, the campaign has been happening for about a good 2, 3, 4 years already. But there's so many debates, and there's so many... there's the nominees, and then they trim it down from however many candidates there were with the Republicans, 92, to now then, 4 and 3 and 2 and Trump, and it's just, it's fascinating to watch. It would make a good reality show, but I think that any of those Sunday morning political shows, that's reality show enough. So, but Trump is throwing babies and mothers out of rooms when he's talking because the kid is crying. You just have to laugh about it. But at the same time, Trump is one of those people who, if somebody comments or criticizes him, a high profile person anyway, he lashes out, calls them names, insults them. I don't know that I've ever seen Obama or any of the Canadian prime ministers, like, they don't take a personal attack and address it and then comment about that person. So it'll be interesting to see that if Trump does get in and he becomes president, if he will continue to do that, because he's going to be criticized left, right, and center. Is that what he's going to do, is follow social media and just lash out at people? Can you just see him sitting on his plane and just scrolling through tweets and attacking world leaders and bashing them because they criticize him? I totally see him doing that. So I don't know. It'll be fun to see, because you'd think that the president would have a public relations team, right, that is kind of either doing the tweets for him, whatever. I don't see Trump handing over that control to anybody. I see him doing it himself. And again, as a Canadian, somebody who's not American and doesn't have a stake in this, it's fascinating, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, because it just seems like it's going to be a disaster, and that's probably a terrible thing to say. But as an outsider looking in, you're kind of like, I want to see this train wreck happen. It's no different than watching The Bachelorette on Monday nights. You're kind of like, I'm not part of it, but I want to keep I want to like cover my eyes, but then look between my fingers and sort of peek. That's what everybody's going to be doing on election night. So obviously, it'll be fun to see what happens. I didn't think I would talk this much about American politics on the Scribble podcast, but I am. And again, I would love to hear your thoughts. Live at jbonair.com. Here's another break, and we're back right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
We're almost out of time. Remember, you can get the latest celebrity news and gossip and headlines as you just heard on Entertainment Wrap-Up. That is entertainmentwrapup.com. And the celebrity guests that we've had here on the podcast and our radio shows Top of the Charts and The Open Road are at speakfreecelebwatch.com. speakfreecelebwatch.com. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. Live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com is the email address. And on Twitter, as you just heard Larson say, at The Scribble Show. That's at The Scribble Show on Twitter. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a Speak Free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,